Good day, everyone. I know it's been a while since I've made a video. The last few days have been rather busy, and my apologies for being absent from YouTube the last couple of days, but hopefully I can keep these coming in the very near future. I was sitting in my living room a little while ago and spotted a stack of LPs. I have gotten them out because I have a turntable that I've gotten working again. And I was thinking it'd be a fun challenge just to take 10 albums off the top and talk about them. Sort of a scary challenge because sometimes you have music that is a guilty pleasure, something you may not want other people knowing you like or that you paid for. But I think that's kind of the fun of this, just to take 10 at a time and work through them and own the full richness of my musical tastes. The things I'm proud of and the things that I might wish I had never bought. So I have a lot of LPs. I plan to work through these in the weeks to come. So stay tuned. This is just the beginning. The first album is Netherlands by Dan Fogelberg. I bought this, I think, because when I was in college, I had a friend who was really into Dan Fogelberg, and she really turned me on to him. And he's a great guitarist, a great singer, died too young, but lots of great songs from Dan Fogelberg. The Innocent Age, that double album, is one of his classics, of course, but Netherlands is on this album, of course, and that's a great song. So that's the first one on the stack. The second is Queen, Sheer Heart Attack. Awesome album. I didn't buy this one. This is one of my siblings, and I think I got it when they didn't want their LPs anymore. But this is Queen when they were up and coming and really had a fire. So great tunes on here. Killer Queen, one of their classic songs from the 1970s, one of the first rock songs I really got into. But songs like Brighton Rock and Stone Cold Crazy and Sheer Heart Attack, Queen really rock on this album, and it's great to have it. It's a great album cover too, powerful photo. The next one, The Police, Synchronicity. This is an album a lot of us probably had back when they released it. Lots of great tunes on here. I've never been a giant fan of The Police, but I do like this album. Zenyatta Mondatta is another one of theirs that I enjoyed, but Synchronicity, classic album. The next one is a Devo album, and this is Devo probably at the peak of their heavy synth and electronic sound. The album Shout. Some cool tunes on here though. I think Jurisdiction of Love is on here. It's a great song. The Fourth Dimension. Some cool tunes on this album, and Devo continually I continue to enjoy them. The other end of the spectrum, Styx from back in the 1970s, Crystal Ball. The title cut is a classic from them, one of their first more epic tunes. Tommy Shaw plays, I think it's a 12-string acoustic at the beginning, and the mellow part of that song is so beautiful. Great song reflecting on where life's going. So classic album. The next one, Elton John, Captain Fantastic and the Brown Dirt Cowboy. You just can't go wrong with an Elton John album, especially the early ones. And I think I got this at a thrift store. It's in excellent shape. The LP does skip a little bit, but every Elton John album is a classic, especially from back in the 1970s. Bad Company, Desolation Angels. I honestly don't know where I got this. It must have been, again, one that belonged to a sibling, but Rock and Roll Fantasy is on here. So that's a great tune, and kind of fun to have something like this. I should play it and discover more what's cool about it. Album from the 80s by Simple Minds, Sparkle in the Rain. I think my younger brother had this album, and I thought it was so cool that I bought it myself. The first song, Up on the Catwalk, great song. No hits, I don't think, on this album, but lots of good tunes from Simple Minds. they would go on to record Don't You Forget About Me. That whole album was an excellent album. The next one I think is another one from a sibling, Best of the Doobie Brothers. You can't go wrong with an album like this, though. Lots of songs from the 70s, my teenage years. China Grove, Long Train Runnin', Taking It to the Streets, Listen to the Music, Blackwater. Lots of songs on there that I recognize. And the older I get, the more I appreciate some of the groups from the 70s who, in my experience, were just kind of in the background. KY102 would play a lot of their music. I'd listen to it, but never really dug into any of their albums. But lots of good songs on there. The last song is actually a 12-inch single by ABC, King Without a Crown. I loved ABC. The Lexicon of Love is one of my favorite albums of all time. Unfortunately, I can't find it, but this 12-inch single is, I think, from their third album, Alphabet City. And Martin Fry writes a great song, and this King Without a Crown, wonderful tune. ABC actually released the Lexicon of Love Part 2 just a couple of years ago as a follow-up to their classic debut. Unfortunately, it was only on Spotify for a few weeks and was removed because I guess nobody was listening to it. But I loved it. I bought the CD and I ripped it to iTunes, so I at least have some kind of access to it. Those are the first 10 albums. I'll move on to another 10 in another video. Hope your sheltering at home is going well, and as we prepare to celebrate Easter and the Easter season, everything is different, but that's the point of Easter, that it changes everything. And we have to believe that in the experience of dying, there is the call to rise. So as we are dying, as we are letting go of old ways of life and old comforts and old familiarity, we also believe that something good is possible and coming forth. So it may not be readily apparent. It may take time for us to live into this, but I firmly believe that will happen.